All right, you ready?
I'm one, right? Yeah, I'm good.
You're one?
Good to go.
All right, here we go.
GTG.
All right, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of David's Saturday Night Sit Back. Tonight, in the studio with me, I have Tom Barvick. Tom is a graduate from the University of New Haven with a degree in music and sound recording with a passion for playing, performing, and producing music. He has been recording, producing, and mixing his own music as well as music for his clients for over 8 years. You interned at the Soundstage Studios in Nashville, worked at the Real School of Music in Burlington, Massachusetts as a music instructor, worked with the local TV station to produce a live music show featuring regional bands and played shows and recorded in studios all around the U.S. Instruments include a variety such as drums, guitar, bass, and your voice. You sing. Check out his latest work. His album is Picturesque, and his single, Picturesque, Goodnight Irene, For You, and The Day the Earth Smiled is on Spotify. And you can follow him on Instagram at Tom Barvick. Welcome to the studio, man.
Thank you. Oh, my gosh. Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you for being here. I appreciate it. Are you happy?
I'm happy, man. And your intro made me realize I probably got to update my LinkedIn.
My intro made me realize I need to shorten my intros.
Oh, I'm going to get this ball away from Thad before it goes out of hand.
So what's
Thad,
going on?
I'm going to have to take that Kong from you, buddy. Come on, bud. I feel terrible.
Just put it here, and he'll be fine. He'll live. All right, I'm gonna pour some drinks.
All right.
Here, while I do that,
Yes.
we're gonna open this box.
Ooh, a game.
Have you seen this one yet?
No.
An episode where we do this?
I don't think so.
So I'm gonna give you 7 cards,
Oh, boy.
and I'm gonna get 7 cards.
Do I look at them?
Yep. And it's called Where Shall We Begin? And it's a game of stories. So I'm gonna give you one that I want answered, and that will give me time to make the drinks.
Perfect.
And then you're gonna give me one that you want answered. Cool. Here you go.
All right. You want me to answer this?
Yes. We can't do that one.
No.
Vetoed. All right. Here we go. I'll give you an easy one.
All right, perfect. Time when I felt on top of the world.
Tell me when to stop.
Let's keep on going. That's good. The rest will be Sprite. Actually, yeah, that'll be fine. A time when I felt on top of the world. Well, I guess those moments come and go. I remember maybe the first time I felt really like I'm doing it. Probably, so when I was 15, I had started playing guitar recently. Thank you very much. And the band that inspired me to really pick up a guitar and start playing was this band called Filter. And Filter might be known for their 90s hits, Hey Man, Nice Shot, and Take a Picture. Those are the ones that people know the most. But when I was 15, I got the opportunity to open for them. And I think sophomore in high school. Like, this is a pretty cool moment to be able to, very early on in like a music career, to be able to say, hey, I got to share the stage with the band that started this all for me.
Cheers.
So, cheers. So that would probably be a time when I felt on top of the world.
There you go.
The downside is that band was terrible, so I wish that it could have been a better band that got to open for my favorite band. But hey, we take them as they go, right?
Take them as they go. That's right.
Yeah. Am I supposed to pick one for you? All right. Let's get introspective. Let's get real.
My views about love changed when?
I don't even know how I would answer this one. I just kind of picked it because I was panicking, and it was the 7th card. I vetoed one of yours. I can pick another one.
No, I would say my views about love changed. I'm sure that you've been in situations where or maybe you haven't, because you're young and you've been with your lady for 2 years as of April, if my timeline's correct.
I think it's 3.
Oh, no, you're right,
Yeah.
because it was 2020.
Right? Yeah. But the last 3 years
So
is just the pandemic. I mean, what a blur of
Right.
time. A great 3 years.
And we'll talk about that, but you might not relate to this, because what I was going to say was if you guys got together when you were 18, you probably haven't gone on as many dates as I have, but I've gone on a lot of dates, and so many of them are just like, sort of disappointing. So I would say my views about love changed the first time I went out with someone was like, and I was head over heels for them. And you start to figure out what you like. And one thing I liked about him was I could be as loud as I wanted. I could be laughing my ass off in any restaurant, any place. It could be a library, and he didn't give a fuck. And if he thought something was funny, he also would laugh along with me. And after that relationship ended, a couple weeks later, I was on a date with someone, and we were in a sushi restaurant during prime time. It was busy, it was loud, and every time I laughed, he'd be like, "Hey, shh, like, take it down." And
hey, don't be yourself really quick for me. Yeah.
And so I guess, you know, for me, like, I don't know if that's, I might be cheating a little bit and not answering the question directly, but it helped me get closer to figuring out, like, I need whoever it is. They need to accept the fact that I am a loud person, and when I get excited, my voice elevates, and I start boisterously laughing like Santa Claus, and it doesn't matter when or where, or it could be a funeral, and you're just gonna have to accept that.
Yeah,
laughing my ass off. So I guess through dating him it unfortunately only lasted about 2 months, but it was 2 very, very fun months, and I found out a lot about what I wanted, who I'm looking for, some things I want to see in them, some things I want them to be able to accept about me, things of that nature. So I would say those, my views about love changed when I dated this particular individual.
All right.
Yeah.
Cool beans. It's a good answer.
You want to do one more?
Sure. Yeah, let's do one more. Oh, wait, shot or... No, I'm kidding.
I mean, we can.
Picked up the alcohol, so I was like, I haven't finished this one yet, but... I hear the word forbidden. What is the first thing that comes to mind? I don't even know what would come to mind. Forbidden.
Oops, the wrong one. I was gonna try to do. That's the one I was looking for.
Yo, literally, the thing that comes to mind first is just because I was just having this conversation with my in my family group chat. My dad is talking to some. He's in Sweden right now on a business trip, and there's some people from Slovenia that he's out at a bar with. This is the most roundabout answer to a question that has nothing to do with anything. But last time I was in Slovenia with some friends, we went to Croatia and went cliff jumping, and my dad was like, send me a picture of when you were in Croatia and Slovenia so I can show these people that are from there. And so I sent the picture of me cliff jumping, and my mom was like, never do that again. That is what I think of with don't jump off any more cliffs. And I'm like, what a crazy thing to...
Cliff jumping.
Yeah. So it is not the answer that anybody probably expected when they made this game.
When Esther made the game of stories.
Exactly. Do you want one more, or you want to jump into things?
Yeah, give me one more. Let's tell another story.
What is the kindest thing someone has ever done for you?
Wait, hang on. Aw, I like that one. And I know the answer
positive,
too.
You know?
I know the answer. So what if your mom... I love skydiving. I don't know if you saw my LinkedIn profile when we met, but I've been 7 times.
Oh, no, I did not know that.
I would go on 8th in Austin, or wherever skydiving is in Texas. Like, if you wanted to go, or anyone wanted to go, hit me up. I'm down.
Okay.
So
That's
what
good
if
to know.
What if your mom, like, the next time you saw her, you whip out your phone and it's a picture of you jumping out of a perfectly good airplane? What would she say?
You know, I guess because I would be assisted by...
The tandem.
Yeah. There's like this. I don't think that she'd be thrilled to see that. But if I'm already alive, that's the thing. Like, I sent the picture of me jumping after I jumped. You can't send it before.
Right.
So clearly I'm alive texting it. But I do understand the possibility of hitting a rock or something. With skydiving, it's like, well, you're doing it. It seems fun. I have a friend that just did it. I would do it.
Yeah.
But
I think it's super safe.
It seems like, I mean, of course.
I've made it 7 times.
Right, yeah.
You know what was weird, though, was on jump either 5 or 6, I remember I got super nervous, and I think it was because in my head, I was telling myself, you're pushing your limit.
Right, yeah.
Like, you should have stopped at 4, buddy. The whole stop while you're ahead concept.
It only goes wrong once.
Exactly.
So,
yeah.
But, hey, you made it.
I love this card. A couple things came to mind instantly. I remember me and my buddy Tim Hester were having a pretty deep conversation about just a lot of things that were on my mind about coming out and my sexuality and whatnot. And I remember he told me, Tim's like a couple years older than I am. He's just jacked dude.
Similar to me, or
Very similar
Right.
to you, yeah. He told me, he looked at me dead in the eyes and he said something along the lines of like, David, you are one of the most handsome, funny, thoughtful, kind men that I've ever met in my life. And I'd never been, not, I hate saying never. In this case, it might be true. I don't know that I've ever had a straight male or even any male that looked me dead in the eyes and said that to me. And I remember my reaction was I just started bawling.
then I was about to do it, like, to be silly and like, but I'm not gonna make you cry in the pod.
It's happened, so that one isn't released yet, but it's out there.
It's out there.
And in that moment, man, that like it was some sort of shift for me. I think he leveled up my confidence in that moment, you know.
Yeah.
And then the second one I'll give is my friend Danny Thornburg. He is by far this pod's biggest fan.
Okay. What up, Danny? Shout out.
What up, Danny? He's seen every episode. He texts me when he thinks there's something funny. He's like, that part in Tom's episode where you guys did the rah! You know, he listened to one episode and it got him so hyped. He called me and he was screaming into the phone and like repeating the parts of the episode that he really liked.
I love that.
And so just all of the text messages, the phone calls, he FaceTimed me the other night and we had a 2-hour conversation about nothing that had to do with the podcast, but our relationship, we haven't talked in years, but it's been awesome that not only did the podcast revive our friendship, and he even said last night, he's like, isn't it fucking stupid that this is what it took? Like, why have we not been talking this whole time?
Yeah.
But it doesn't matter because we are now. So we talk almost 7 days a week since this thing has started, whether it's a quick couple of text messages or a 2-hour FaceTime or something in between. And so the kind part of it is just, he like lights a fire in me, you know, and I imagine that one day there's going to be 1,000 of him or her, you know, just people who are just like raging about the messages and the stories that the guests are telling on this platform. So
that's awesome.
Yeah,
it's similar with music too, or I mean, really any art or any thing that you do that you're passionate about. It can reconnect people, like, you know. Through my music and stuff, a lot of people have reached out or bought my record or whatever that I hadn't talked to since I graduated high school or something like that. And they were like, hey, I heard the album and I love it or whatever. And I'm like, that means a lot. Like because it means a lot when family and friends and something is like, oh, really good. I love it. It's really awesome. But you kind of, you definitely hope, but you almost expect or whatever that the people you expect to be supportive will be supportive. But when someone comes out of the blue that you haven't talked to in 7 years, whatever, and they're like, man, I heard the podcast. I love it. I want to keep on hearing the guests. I want to do this. Maybe he'll be on it, whatever. And for me, it's similar. Like I ship out a record to a person that is like, oh, they live in California or they live somewhere and I haven't seen them since they left college or whatever. It's an awesome thing.
Yeah. I do want to say, by the way, that when I was driving home last night, I was listening to your album again, and it's not the only time I've listened to it, but I specifically wanted to listen to it to get in my Tom Barvick headspace, you know? And I was listening
to the headspace to be in.
No, I don't want to be back in it.
I wouldn't.
But you're really fucking good.
Oh,
and if I didn't say that, if I didn't mean that, I wouldn't say it. And I was imagining you on stage in front of thousands of people and thinking that will happen if you wanted to, because it's there. You're just as good as the person I feel like Picturesque is most sort of related to, and I don't reach across the table and slap me if you hate this, but like it's almost sort of Jack Johnson-esque, and I'm sure there's bands that are more a better example.
That's a great and appreciated comparison.
You could. Why could you not be as big or bigger than him?
Is that an actual question, or like just
it's sort of redundant and asked? Like, do you see that for yourself?
It's definitely Well, first, thank you. I do appreciate that. That does mean a lot. I think with the right drive, I could at least go for it, and I also think why not? I do think there's a lot of talented songwriters out there, and I think there are many more talented than me, musicians that are not at that level. A lot of it's luck. A lot of it is who you know and break that you get in someone. The reason I said, is that a serious question? Because a lot of people, Jack Johnson or just anybody who got big is big now, got big in a time where the music industry was way better for musicians. I think that it's almost impossible. It's not impossible. There are people getting big all the time. But we live in a world now where it's really about the flavor of the week. It's about the song of the summer. It's like, so maybe I could do that. You know, if someone takes a video of their dog running on a beach and puts it on TikTok with like, everything is picturesque, and then that song blows up on TikTok, yes, it could be me, but that's not why I'm writing it. And a lot of the music industry now is like written for that purpose, if that makes sense.
For clips?
For clips, for just the short thrill. Like, let's capitalize on this artist right now really quick. And then, like, I think what I'm, like, the longevity of artists these days is less so than it has been in the past. From a music industry, like, purpose. Like, it's just not the same as it was.
But if I could play devil's advocate, and I don't know anything about the music industry.
Do it.
One thing that you said was it's like the flavor of the week or the summertime hit. Mm-hmm. But wasn't it always like that? Because if you go back to radio, you know, before we had CDs or cassette tapes, when I was growing up, it was vinyls and radio. And you did get your song this summer that was just on repeat all the time. And now we just manually control it, you know, and we don't have to wait for it to come on. But so in that sense, like, you could still get a summer hit or a winter hit or that song that you listen to on the road trip. Why not?
Oh, totally. I totally think that's a very, very good comparison. I think the music industry goes in waves. And there's always going to be the one-hit wonders and the songs of the summer and everything. But if you go back to, like, you know, Motown and the 60s and stuff, like, it's very, in a weird way, similar to it is now, where, like, they're kind of artists, and there were a lot of standout ones, of course, that stood the test of time, like the Temptations and stuff like that. But, like, you go into any dollar bin at a record store, and there are all these 45s that, like, a lot of these were big hits, but, like, do you know that band or do you know that song kind of thing? And like, but then you get into the 70s and 80s and 90s as well. And people were buying albums. Like, people wanted the full record. People wanted concept albums. People wanted Bat Out of Hell. People wanted like News of the World. Like, they wanted these things, like, not saying that my record is some grandiose like concept album or something like they were, but like it goes in waves where we're back into the artist doesn't necessarily have, like, a face. Whereas, like, oh, I know this song. Like, if you think about Gucci Gang, like that big song from 2017 or whatever, like, what's Lil Pump doing right now? Like, he had his time. Designer had Panda. I love Panda. You know what I'm saying? You know, like, love it. But Designer hasn't had a hit in a minute, like, because they're capitalizing on what's currently, like, the song. And, this is a very roundabout answer. I would love to play in front of thousands of people to answer your original question.
Do you tell yourself it will happen?
I do. I love a lot of things about playing music, and honestly, being the front man of something is one that I like less than other things. I feel like if I could tour being a guitar player or a drummer, I'd be happier.
If you could what?
Tour.
I love how you
tour?
say that.
How do you want it, man? That's a one-syllable word.
No. Tour, I guess, is how I say it normally.
No,
I look. One of my favorite things is when people on the show say, like, one of my guests, he had a Boston accent come out, and it was very quick, but I loved it. I was like, do more, and he couldn't. But
what you want is...
Say it again.
If I could tour...
Tour. How do you say it?
Now I'm just doing an accent for it. If I could go on tour... We're going to be talking about touring a lot today, so if you can't get with how I say it... I would love to hit the road with, you know, I feel more comfortable being not in the spotlight. So to be playing my very honest songs, very stripped down, acoustic, whatever, I would love to. And I'm not saying that I won't and that I wouldn't do it, but I kind of just like being like, I like playing shows, but being the drummer or being the guitar player.
So you think you would get more joy out of being the drummer or guitar player for a band than you would hitting the road with you, with your own album?
It's, you know,
And the answer can be yes. I'm not trying to dissuade you. I'm just trying to understand you.
the answer is maybe, because I haven't hit the road with this current record yet, you know?
Okay, so here's the question. Who would your dream band be to tour with, and would you rather do drums or guitar?
Well, that's another really good question.
Say the band. Who came to mind first?
Filter, the band that started me playing guitar that I opened for when I was 15. My music would not really work as that opener, so that would be a case where I'd be like, yeah, put me on guitar for like a rock band, for like a alternative metal band or something, and that'd be awesome. Yeah, I don't know. It's funny. I listen to a lot of the music that inspires my album, like my solo stuff, are like Townes Van Zandt, a lot of singer-songwriters, John Prine, that are not alive anymore or whatever. But then a lot of the music that I write is also inspired by like all the bands that I listen to. So it's kind of like a amalgamation.
A what?
Combination?
No. I want to learn a new word. Say it again. An amalgamation?
Yeah. That's like when you put a bunch of things together.
I fucking love it.
I mean, hey, that could be the wrong word, but we could dictionary.com it.
So an orgy is just an amalgamation of people?
Yeah. A sweaty amalgamation. But so, you know, I think that my music would probably, you know, go well with the Lumineers or something.
Mm-hmm.
I like one of their albums. I think that they're a good band, but they're not like the band that I listened to when writing the album kind of thing. I think it's like, it's just I don't know, it could work. Could work in a lot of settings. I think it could work with like a lot of like 90s alt rock, because a lot of that's my favorite music ever, like Everclear, you know, like those kind of like radio rock bands that aren't too heavy, so like an acoustic kind of opener could work, like a full band acoustic thing. You got a smirk on. What's going on? Did I say something wrong?
No, you didn't.
Did I mispronounce another word?
No. I'm not laughing at you. I'm laughing with you. But what I was thinking in my head as you were talking about like the appropriate bands to open for is if like you opened for someone where it would just be wildly inappropriate. Like if you were to open with Picturesque type music for like Bring Me the Horizon, people would just be like, wait, huh?
Definitely. I've played in the big world of shows and concerts and whatever you're gonna, you know, they're very tailored so that the fan base of the headliner will enjoy the opener so that they sell more records and everything like that. However, I've played a lot of mixed bill shows in like the DIY scale, like the small, and it's like, man, you got like a acoustic opener, and then you have just like the like grimiest of sludgy like metalcore you've ever heard in your life, and I love it. And then you go back to like there's a pop punk band just like making like Blink 182. They're probably covering like Blink 182 right after a band just played a song about like defiling corpses, and right before that it was something that sounded like Picturesque, and it's like those are fun. They don't work in the grand, like the big scale. You don't go to Moody Center and be like, oh, okay, cool, we're gonna see like a grindcore band and then Jack Johnson. Like, unfortunately, that doesn't happen, but that would be great. I would love to go see, you know, Cattle Decapitation open for Jack Johnson, and then he rips out Banana Pancakes, and you're like, yeah, great song. I just saw a song, you know, called A Living, Breathing Piece of Defecating Meat. Like, great song. Check it out. A living,
breathing piece of defecating meat.
Yeah, that's a Cattle Decapitation song. Check it out. You're going to love it.
That sounds like good workout music right there.
I listen to it at the gym all the time. I don't go to the gym all the time.
I was going to say, you go to the gym?
But when I go to Planet Fitness on Riverside Drive, or maybe Pleasant Valley, I don't know, it's on that intersection. Oh, yeah, I've either got hardcore or metalcore or grindcore in there.
I want to work out with you.
Let's do it.
When I move closer.
Yeah.
When I move to 4th, is 4th Street closer to you?
It is much closer.
Okay. When I move to 4th Street with all the gays.
That's it.
We'll get a workout in it, whatever's going on down there, whatever gym.
Mm-hmm.
The podcast lived up here for 2 years, give or take.
Mm-hmm.
And last summer, I started telling people, I'm going to start the podcast. 6 months later, I'm in Texas. 10 months later, we got 12 episodes out.
Hey, yeah.
20 recorded. Do you, I don't know how you feel about like manifest destiny, but do you ever say, maybe not to people, but just even out loud to yourself in the mirror, like, one day I will be on stage in front of thousands of people.
Yeah.
Yeah?
Absolutely.
How often?
Like, are you talking like literally saying it, or just like how often does that thought go through my mind?
So I'll give you a more concrete question. I actually have a written mission. That's called a mission statement, for lack of a better term. But I have it's right here on a piece of paper, and exact underneath. It's about 3 paragraphs long of exactly where I expect the podcast to be,
okay.
the date, the amount of revenue it's going to bring in, and I say it out loud 1 to 2 times every day. And so it's very specific of this is exactly where it's going to go. And there's even a clause in there too of like, I don't know how it's going to happen yet, but it will happen. So I believe that shit works, and it just gets me in a good mind frame of like, what do I need to do today to get a baby step closer to that? And I want you to be successful, and I just wonder if like how often you do that for yourself.
Out loud, not as much. Definitely not. I think I should probably, like do that more and just say it out loud, make it real kind of thing. I definitely think about it a lot, and I definitely use that mindset to achieve goals and stuff like that. But as for like, looking myself in the mirror and be like, this is going to happen, I don't really do that.
How often does anyone ask you about some sort of question about your music, in the sense of like, where do you see yourself going, or something of that? Mm-hmm. And I think your default answer should just start being, oh, I'm going to be in front of thousands of people one day. Where it just rolls off your tongue naturally. It's the very first gut reaction instinct of, and just say it and proclaim it and then believe it.
Maybe I'll start doing that.
Can you?
Maybe.
Why maybe?
I don't know.
Do you not believe it?
I believe it.
Then why are you hesitating?
I don't want to come off arrogant or like come off.
Did I come off arrogant when I said it?
No, because you gave me the whole like, but you don't do people. I don't know. When someone asks you like,
where are you going with your music?
Gonna play in front of thousands of people.
Yeah!
Did it. All right, it felt pretty good. No, I mean, yeah, because I think a lot of times when people ask like, how's the music going, especially if they're not musicians or something, like they see it as like, oh, this man has a hobby for a living or something like that. They're like, oh, how's the music going? Like, it's going well, So I don't really know if they actually care to hear.
You should start answering one day closer to being in front of thousands of people.
That is true. I will start. This has been very eye-opening for me.
All right, cool. Well, let's end it right here and finish our drinks and get you the fuck out of my home.
Good podcast, man.
Podcast. Life-changing.
I'll see you in the crowd.
I'll see you in the crowd. I'll be body surfing.
Yeah, I do crowd surf.
Can I tell you one of my funniest and potentially scary and dangerous moments at a concert?
Yeah.
So it was at
Absolutely.
It was at Muse.
Okay.
You know who that is?
Of course.
Of course.
Mad. Yeah. I know Muse.
So it's me and my buddy Justin and several people in front of us. It was an outdoor venue in a field, general admission. No. Yeah. Whatever. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
What venue? Seating. Where was it?
It's in Sacramento. So you want to know?
You don't know that I wouldn't know, but I don't.
Fuck.
You don't know. Were you even there?
Yeah.
Let me tell you my Muse story.
So there is this girl, and she had her hands above her head, and she was spinning around in circles, literally just like ping-ponging through the crowd. She looked like she had no idea. She was just like a free spirit.
Oh, yeah.
And the reason I say it's dangerous is because, like, I hope she got out of there safely, because she just looked high as, not even high, just like she was on another planet.
Yeah. Yeah.
But just seeing her, like, she would bump into someone and it would just ricochet her into the different direction.
She's like trying to start a mosh pit and like.
I don't even think that.
Not intentionally. She's just like, yeah.
That was pretty awesome.
It's a good time. Have you ever moshed? Have you ever crowd surfed?
No.
Oh, you should.
Maybe I will. At your
Say
show.
It. I don't know.
I don't know if that's what I want to manifest right now.
Look me in the eye and tell me that you're going to crowd surf the next show.
I would actually like to crowd surf.
It's really fun.
Yeah, you've done it? Obviously.
Hundreds of, if not, like, yeah.
You've crowd surfed hundreds of times.
Hundreds, for sure.
Hundreds?
Yes.
Wow.
Oh, yeah. It's a thrill. And people are like, I can't do it because I'm too tall or whatever. It's like, nah, because it's just.
Well, you're so small, it'd be easy to.
But it's like, it's just weight displacement. I mean, like, if one person's holding anybody up, it's going to be tough, but you just get up there and people are going to carry you. It's great.
I sort of want to do it now.
Do it. I'll take you to a show. We'll do it.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll figure
I'm going to see. Let's see. I'm going to test your memory based off your own Instagram.
Okay.
According to you.
Ooh, my own Instagram. I don't post a lot, so it'll be good.
Who is your favorite drummer of all time?
Chad Smith. He's the reason I started drumming.
Not according to your own Instagram.
I have a picture with,
You want to try one more time? Don't be looking over here, schmuck.
Maybe Dave McGraw.
There you go.
I'm going to see him next week.
Ding, ding, ding.
Does it really say favorite on my Instagram? Because Chad Smith is hands down my favorite drummer of all time.
According to this post, it was Dave McGraw.
All right. 2015 Cattle Decapitation at the Middle East downstairs. I remember the show, or maybe the Bright Music Hall. I saw them twice, or I've seen them like 6 times. But Dave McGraw is awesome. Well, that's crazy that I mentioned Cattle D earlier because he's the drummer for Cattle Decap, and like the technical ability that this man has is just it's like not human what this man can do. So it's like super inspiring. It's not a genre I want to play.
What genre is he?
It's like death metal.
Okay.
Very, very fast. Extreme metal, I guess, would be a better blanket term. But it's just the sheer, like, talent is just, like, I can't fathom doing that. It's just so impressive to me. It's, like, definitely seeing him when I was, like, 13, 14, whatever, how old I was, just being like, I want to be able to do that, and I still can't. And I'm not trying to because, like, it's just not the genre I went into. But, man, what a guy.
You're pretty damn good, though.
Oh, thank you.
At Cake Butt Coffee, I'm not going to lie. I was impressed.
Oh, thank you.
It was so good. So you're not bad. How many years has it?
That's good. I'm glad that I'm not bad. That's what I strive for. That's what I look myself in the mirror. I'm like, don't be bad today. Don't be terrible.
That's the affirmation you're telling yourself.
Just manifest.
Just don't be bad.
I'm going to make a shirt. Manifest decency.
Oh my God! No, you were incredible that night. You did great. I completely lost my train of thought. Oh, how many years has he been drumming for? Do you have any idea?
Who? Oh, Dave.
Dave McGraw.
No, I don't. I'm sure I don't know how old he is. Mid-30s. I'm sure he's been drumming for at least 20 years. Like it's one of those people where like this dude's definitely been. If he picked up the sticks at like 18 years old and is that good. That's what would make me quit music. I'm like, what? Where did that come from?
You might be there in 10 years.
We'll see.
Keep going.
All right. I will.
Put that as part of your manifestation.
Yeah.
I'll be drumming. So Tom, how's the music going? I'm going to be drumming like Dave McGraw in front of a couple thousand people in a couple years.
All right.
We're getting there.
All right. I will.
All right, finish the sentence from another one of your Instagram posts.
Oh, no.
There is nothing better than...
A sweaty basement show.
Wow!
I remember that one, too.
I'm very impressed, not because I think you had... Because it was just so vague, but was that a memorable show for you or something? How did you... That was without hesitation,
I don't know why. I can picture I'm on the drums like this.
Yes.
With fake glasses on.
Yeah.
Yeah. I post fairly infrequently. It's not like once a year, but like if I'm posting once a month, like that's a good amount for me because like I don't know. I scroll. I look at like Corgi videos and like Avril Lavigne videos and stuff, but like I don't like post a lot. But there, when you post about a show, it's like one that's probably memorable. And I just remember like that show. I think this is where my memory is not that sharp, but that could have been my band's like EP or album release show. So like it was just a packed basement for like with a lot of our friends and friends' bands playing with us, and like it was just like one of the memorable ones. So, and it was like a really sweaty basement show, like absolutely disgusting, like dripping, just like gross. It was like awesome though because like that means that because you can play a basement show packed with people and if nobody's moving. It doesn't get hot. It doesn't get sweaty. It doesn't get energetic. I know that there was just like unbridled energy in there. So,
unbridled.
Is that another one to write down for the dictionary later?
I know what unbridled means. I love that. I want to be in a room full of unbridled energy.
I'll let you know the next one I go to. You can crowd surf there and knock 2 off.
Yeah.
I don't know if you want to crowd surf in a house because you'll hit your head on the ceiling, but it's worth it.
Ceiling better watch out.
The kitchen floor will never know what hit it. It's like poke up there and be like, what's cooking?
What's cooking? Let me cook. What does WG up arrow 2 stand for?
Is that a question? Like, you're wondering, or do you know?
Well,
So that's a WG squared. That's a white guy with guitar.
Is that an actual acronym, or did you just make that up?
I don't know if like other people use it, but definitely like with my friends up in Massachusetts, like it would just be like that. Like, hey, play Wonderwall. Like that's a WG squared. Like a white guy who's like, oh, I can play in this.
Up arrow 2.
Up arrow.
That's what I didn't know.
Oh, that's you now understand. That's the square. Yeah.
Feel like an idiot.
No, man, you're good.
That is so funny. And I was looking when I typed that specific question out. I even Googled. I think I Googled like, what do you call the up arrow symbol? And Google was just like up arrow.
Up arrow.
And I was like, no. So that's how I made it into my notes.
Wonderful. Yes. I'll be a WG squared later, I think.
Oh boy. Okay. Next one. It has nothing to do with your Instagram.
Okay.
Please tell me how you came up with the following song title.
Okay.
Dash star 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 dash 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 star dash dash.
Just came to me in a dream one time.
Shut the fuck up.
No, that's an intro track to the final song of the album, Dance With You. So those are just Morse code for DWY.
Dance With You.
Yeah. I was like, I don't know what to call it because it's just an intro track. It's a minute and 30 seconds of intro. And I was like, I need a name for it, but I don't want to just call it Dance With You intro because like that's boring.
That's very unique. I've never seen that. I don't think I've ever seen that ever. An intro to the final song of the album.
Right?
Why'd you do that?
It's not, a lot of times it'll be like an interlude kind of thing. Like people have done it for sure. I'm not.
No.
Okay, no, I am the
You're
first.
the first.
So, Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, I expect the call next year. What was the question? Why did I do it?
Yeah, why did... I mean, yes, the question is why did you do it? Because to my knowledge, I didn't know that it actually had been done before. So if it has or if it's common, I guess that's not that
Well,
great of a question.
I don't know. I kind of felt like I wanted to write... I wrote that song, but I kind of felt like I wanted it to be a longer piece of music, but the song was already written, and I wasn't about to put that in the middle of the song. I don't know. Like, I didn't want there to be some... It's a pop song. It's a, So I was like, oh, maybe I can just, like, kind of write an intro, because I was also kind of picturing, like, if I was to take this show on the road, and I was to be headlining something, like, that could play... when we walk out or whatever, like that could...
No, I was saying when you take the show on the road.
Did I say when or if?
You said if.
When it could, it could potentially be like intro music to the whole show, and we open with Dance With You, and like the song, the final part of that intro is the snare going da-da-da, and then the song hits. I just felt like it could serve that purpose, but also I split it up into 2 different songs because I kind of felt like it was 2 different pieces of music, but it's still the same piece of music, which makes sense, right?
Totally.
Yeah.
Huzzah.
Huzzah.
Huzzah. You knew in the 6th grade, you would have been 12, or like kids in general in the 6th grade are roughly 12, right?
Yeah, that sounds about right.
I think that's how old I was, so let's just go with it. You knew around when you were 11, 12, 13 that you wanted to be a musician. Do you, according to your Instagram?
I believe that, but could you cite your source? Like, where did I write that?
Your Instagram.
What?
The source is at Tom Barvick.
Oh, okay. I'll have to take a look.
So you just mentioned, I do need to get better at like saving the specific post because you're not the first person that has asked for context. But you had a post and it said something along the lines of in 6th grade you knew that you were, music was going to be a big part of your life. Was there any particular show or as you call upon your memory, was there something going on when you were 12 that?
So when I got to 6th grade, I had been in Catholic private school up until 5th grade. And, the class size is like 25 people. And just a fairly like limited kind of shelter. Like, I mean, shelter's the wrong word, but kind of like you're not exposed to as much because you're not exposed to as many people and, you know, maybe the diversity of a public school or something. And then when I switched to public middle school, you just meet so many people. And I remember like that's when, you know, a good friend of mine, like now one of my best friends, shout out Tom Ashton. He showed me Weezer, you know, like great band, just like getting me into alt rock. But it's, you know, just in general, you're exposed to so many different people, different cultures, and then out of that, different music styles, different TV shows, whatever, like just things that you wouldn't have been exposed to before solely because the sheer amount of people that you're now interacting with every day. In middle school is when I got into just alt rock in general, which is my favorite style of music, I guess, if I was just to blanket a term. But the Red Hot Chili Peppers were the band that I got into when I was 12 or whatever. And just like I said earlier, when I was incorrect about my own life, Chad Smith is and will forever be my favorite drummer. He's like playing along with the Chili Pepper songs is what made me want to be a drummer. So I would say that. I went to my first show I ever went to was going to see U2 with my dad and my brother. And Interpol opened, who ended up like becoming one of my favorite bands later on, which is cool. But you know, that was a big eye opener for me. It was my first like big show, and I was like, wow, like look at these rock stars, they're killing it. This looks super fun. But you know, it wasn't really till like high school that I kind of started taking it as like a career type of thing. It was something that I knew I loved to do. Like I love drumming, I love listening to music, I love going to see bands live. But in I don't really want to pursue anything else. You know, like I don't want to do anything else. Music's cool.
Music's cool.
Like I got good grades. I could have done something else, but I don't know. Wouldn't have made me happy, so why would I do it?
I think you just said something really interesting that I think a lot of people are probably in a similar boat as you, where they think I want to pursue music, open my own business. Let's just go with music, since that's what you're doing.
Relatable.
And they don't.
Mm-hmm.
You know, because it's not safe, it's not good job security, it's not what my parents would whatever the fucking excuse is.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that makes me sad.
What was different about you that you actually, what's your degree in for college?
Music and sound recording, audio engineering.
So you did it. You actually went and followed through with it. And even now, most of the jobs that you're doing throughout the day are sort of related to this field in one way, shape, or form, directly or indirectly.
Yeah, if it's not direct, it's at least not far from.
Why'd you follow through with it? Why didn't you become the accountant or the doctor, the safe route?
It just sounds terrible. And I hope that I'm not like triggering anyone listening or anything, but it sounds horrible to me to wake up and do something every day that you don't want to do. Like, even if it makes you, like, I'm not making the money that I could be making if I went into like a business job, desk job. I could have been the best doctor. No, I'm just kidding. I don't want to do surgery on people. That's kind of nasty. But, you know, like I probably could have pursued something that could have made me, you know, 6 figures in a couple years after college or this or that or whatever. But for me to wake up and know like, oh, today I get to like go to the studio and record a band, or today I get to, or, you know, in a week I leave for tour, and that's the best thing ever. Tour. Whatever.
I wasn't gonna say anything. I heard it, and there he goes, mispronouncing it again.
You didn't say it, but
Did
your
eyes
screamed it.
Sorry.
No, you're good. But yeah, I mean, I probably would not have like, you know, I wouldn't have gone to college if it wasn't to go do music for college and pursue like follow that dream. I mean, yeah, I guess the bottom line or I would hate to wake up and do something every day that I don't want to do every day. Because your job is, you know, it's
5 days a week.
It's the old stereotype of work a job you like what is it? I don't
even know what, I think
because
I know.
Because I like the job I have, so I don't have to, but like, you know, work a job you love and you never work a day in your life or whatever it is.
There it is, yeah.
It's true. It's a cliche or whatever, but I mean, I love recording other bands. I love mixing other bands. I love making my own music. I love going on tour, and I'm saying tour, Tore. I don't even care how it's actually spelled.
You're saying Tour. You're almost saying Tore.
Yeah.
Say it the way you say it.
Going on tour.
No, you said it my way that time.
No, I did not. Could we get a playback? You know, like, yeah, that's the bottom line. I don't know how long I'm gonna live, but if I'm gonna do something until I'm 65 and then retire, or 70 or 40 or whatever, if I'm gonna do something every single day, it has to be something that I enjoy doing, because that's every day. What's the point? I don't know. I mean, what's the point?
But what you say, what's the point? But how many millions of people are out there doing like that settled?
Oh yeah. Well, and
you know,
and I guess the other thing that I would say, it's not so black and white. It's like,
it's not.
you know, if some people really like to play music, but it's not what they want to do with their life, like career-wise, then it's totally. I'm not saying. I should probably have, prefaced all that with like, why is anybody working at a desk? No.
What do you think I did for 8 hours?
Right? I know.
I know.
I'm like, if I'm not triggering anyone, the man right across from me.
That's double your size.
Throw me through
We're
a
about to
window.
go through. Yeah, I was just thinking, we were having the same thought. Why?
I don't know.
Why is that the specific violent action we both had was chuck him through the fucking window?
I pictured like Spider-Man, the Tobey Maguire Spider-Man, when Willem Dafoe picks the guy up and just like throws him through the Green Goblin thing. But if you love playing music, but it's not like, oh, I don't want to do it as a career. I want to do some other thing as a career, but I still have a bar cover band that I do once a week, or like, it's not like I'm saying if you like music, why would you do anything else? It's just, for me, there was nothing else that I even remotely closely would have wanted to do as a career. So for me, it was a no-brainer. It was just go for it. And I feel like there was, who Travis Barker is?
Yeah, I know the name.
Drummer for Blink-182 and
yeah,
many other things. And now married to a Kardashian. I still think the Blink-182 thing's cooler, but I watched
the Kardashians.
What? He's another big inspiration on me for drumming. Like
the Kardashians?
Yeah, him specifically. Her drumming was great. No, Travis Barker. Like, I remember watching an interview with him, or reading, or I forget, but he basically said he was a trash man in Southern California when he was high school age or college age or whatever. And he said that like he quit because if he ever had a plan B, he would always have something to fall back on in case music didn't work. And then he was like, I can't have a fallback, because then there's something to fall back on. Then you don't have to go for it. And that was pretty eye-opening to me. I was like, go for what you want 100%. Because, because you could always fall back into something, but is that what's going to like get you out of bed in the morning and like, yes, I'm excited to do this? No. So like hearing Travis be like, I just want to be a drummer. I want to drum. I will drum. I'm going to quit my other job of being a trash collector, which trash people make pretty good money. Like, it's the thing that they don't tell you in school. They're like, you don't want to become a trash man. I'm like, yo, all my friends that went into trades and stuff, like, they're out there killing it, Anyway, sidetrack. But, but so that was pretty eye-opening to me. I was like, and that's kind of what I did. I'm like, I'm going to go for music. And of course I work, the other jobs that I do are like in the AV world and audio visual type of stuff. It's in the same field. And it, unfortunately we have to pay rent. We have to do taxes. We have to pay bills, buy groceries, all that. So it's not like you can really comfortably, unless you have money coming in from elsewhere, just like live and do what you want to do all the time. There is still that aspect of you have to make money and you have to, but, when I moved down to Texas, I was like, I'm never working in food service again. I'm like, I'm not going back to it. Because I worked at a pizza place all through high school and college, and I worked at a restaurant throughout the pandemic because the music world was destroyed. Mm-hmm. So, like, yeah, I worked other jobs, of course, but since moving down to Texas, I was like, that's it. I'm only doing something in the field that I want to be doing it. And sometimes it's corporate AV, which is like setting up audio and lights and stuff for the New York Life Convention. It's like, is that awesome?
That's very sexy.
Yeah, right. Like people, it's like, what did you do today? Well, no big deal. But, it's still in the right field. And so, that's forget where the question started, but basically there was never another option for me to do something else and kind of have music on the side.
That's an awesome perspective. There's never another option. It's funny, too, because you could look at it from a different perspective. I had a call. I'm thinking about hiring a coach, for lack of a better term, to help me really get this thing off the ground and blow it up. And I told him that I want to monetize this and I want to be able to quit my job, not because of the money, but because I truly believe, like genuinely down to my core, that one day some kid will hear your episode who wants to do music, and maybe he or she thinks that they shouldn't be for the exact reason we were just talking about. Maybe their parents told them that they can't, maybe a teacher, maybe they think it about themselves, and then they hear your episode and they have a shift in their perspective and they think, you know what, fuck it. I'm going to do it.
I would love that.
It will happen. And so I told him that's why I want to monetize. Not why I want to monetize this. Excuse me. That's why I want this show to reach 1 million people, is because we don't know who that kid is and how many degrees of separation he or she is away from me. And so therefore, the only way to guarantee that the show gets to that kid is for it to go wide. Totally. And therefore, I need to quit my job because I want to be able to work on this full time so I can spend more time editing, drop 3 episodes a week instead of 1, all the different things. And he did give me an interesting perspective that your job does provide, though, your health benefits, your dental, your vision. So it was funny. I wasn't expecting him to say that, but he was like, why can't you blow it up and keep your job? And then your job sort of, to your point, pays the bills and keeps your personal life running, and you could still blow up the podcast, and then maybe you don't even have to insert commercials, and then your guests will be happier because you're still ad free. So that was just an interest, and I don't hate my job either. I'm fortunate enough that I used to love my job. Now I'm sort of neutral towards it because the podcast is so exciting. That's way up here. So it's made the day. Sorry, boss, if you happen to listen to this episode. But that was a perspective I was not expecting him to throw my way. I thought he was going to be like, yeah, man, let's do it, you know? And he sort of gave me some pushback and was like, just keep your day job, man.
That's a good point. I have the luxury of being 23, so I'm still on my parents' insurance. And I totally, love that.
3 more years.
Right. And I'm like, well, all right, I better blow up in the next 3 years so that I can pay healthcare based off of music.
Take out the better. I'll blow up in the next 3 years.
There it is. Got to start doing that. And then there are also cool things like HAM is the Health Alliance for Awesome Musicians. Like there are things designed for musicians that will help along, that kind of thing. But that is definitely a good point. I know a lot of people that just don't have health insurance in my field, and it's like, I hope nothing happens.
Or not even something like, I hope it never happens, but there's a kid at my gym. He's not a kid. He's a man. There's a young man at my gym who wants to start his own business, and he was getting ready to order his first batch of inventory, and then he had some emergency dental work that needed to be done. It cost him a few $1,000, and we're in the locker room. He's like, bro, I'm having to fucking delay this thing because I paid for it. So, that's another example of just, if he had literally, if he had a day job, that would have been paid for. But then it's just that push and pull of, at the same time, if he had that day job, would he have been ready to buy his first round of inventory? Right. Maybe not, because his day job would have been, so I don't.
You ever watch The Office?
Nope.
NBC's hit sitcom?
Nope.
Okay.
I watched the pilot, thought it was boring as shit.
I'll see myself out.
I probably just lost half my listeners.
Yeah, right.
Whatever.
You should try it again. It gets better. It's like every show is like that, right? Even The Sopranos, actually, it's a great show. But, any show is they have to set up the show in the first episode or two. So it's just get through. And also, honestly, the first season, Anyway, not about that. There's one episode where Pam is the receptionist, and she wants to be an artist, and she wants to go to New York and go to art school, but she's like, I have this job, and I'm dating this guy, and, blah, blah, blah. And Jan, she's not the CEO. I don't know. She's above the regional manager. She's corporate, but she's not the CEO. She says, Pam, there's always a million reasons not to do something. And, for a funny show, The Office always just, hits you with some crazy-ass truth.
Really?
Yeah. There's some just, super, just, gut punch lines where it's damn, it's pretty real. But that's a line that, kind of plays in my head a lot. Oh, but, I want to make sure that I make enough money. Always, million reasons not to do something. you got to do what you really want to do. And Pam ended up going to art school, and great, like it's a sitcom. It's fine. It's good. It's funny. But it is true. I mean, I could think of a bunch of reasons to not pursue music, like right now. But are any of them, like, not that they're not important, but it's like you get one life. I mean, I kind of believe in like reincarnation. We can get into like that stuff later. I feel like I'll come back in another life as something else. Better not be like a cockroach or something, because I've killed a bunch of them, so I know that like it's coming for me. But anyway, like, you get one life. Is it worth it to not enjoy it?
Right.
Like, money's cool. I would love to have a lot of money. That'd be awesome. But I don't. But I love music, and I get to play music all the time. I get to go on tour. I get to go play shows in different cities.
You get to hit the road.
I get to hit the road. I get to, work with artists at the studio. I get to record them and mix them, and we get to work to that, create something awesome. And that's way more powerful to me than money. Money's cool. I like to buy stuff. But whatever.
There is something to be said. I've said this every episode. I'm going to keep fucking saying it too. Is that I have had more fun in the last 2 months than I have for a very long time. And I told the potential coach that I met yesterday, I told him that was a very strange feeling, because you were here. Wow, you were here for this moment.
When? The first time?
I'll tell you.
All right.
I told him that when I recorded the very first episode, it was one of the very first times in my life I felt like I was doing exactly what I was supposed to be doing.
Yeah, I saw you. What was his name? Jake?
Yeah.
Yeah. Jake, I remembered. If you're listening, I remembered your name. You're the man with the khakis. But, yeah, it's like, what a powerful feeling. I remember watching you guys, because I was sitting over there after helping and set up, and like, it was like, yeah, I only had met you one other time before, so I don't have anything to base it off of. But I was watching just like two dudes in their element, like having a great time. Like I saw some natural coming out where it was like, he's having a blast right now. Yeah. And we were having technical difficulties and this and that. And through all that, you were loving it.
Yeah.
So now that it's running smooth, I can't even imagine,
It's funny too, because Jake, I don't know if you remember this, but he got more upset than I did. There's like at one point we hit record or something and the system crashed, and he was just like, what the fuck? And I cared, but I also didn't, because to your point of what you just said, I was like, we're actually doing this. Mm-hmm. Like, sure, this is going to set us back 10 minutes, but in my head, I almost didn't even mind. No. Like, it doesn't even matter. Like, in a couple minutes, we'll be there. Mm-hmm. And for anyone that's been listening, like Danny, this is him. This is the guy that was in the background for episode 1, and then he disappeared for 20 episodes.
I'm back.
And I also, in one episode, I made a reference to you that I hope you're my Jamie one day, which I don't really hope that, because... Do you know who I'm referencing by chance? You ever watch Joe Rogan?
I mean, I've seen some interviews, but...
There is a podcast, and he has someone who is sitting behind the camera, and I actually don't really know what he does. Well, he looks up a ton of shit live, so if they're talking about something that they don't know anything about, he can pull it up. He's running the TV screen. I'm assuming he's doing some real-time editing. But I had so much fun with you, even though you weren't necessarily doing any of that. Just like
I was eating pizza.
You were eating pizza, yeah. That fucking pizza with no base, because it got all sticky. Right. Remember that?
Right. It was
not your fault. It was the fucking brand's fault.
Yeah, the brand.
It was like just even dubbed Austin's best pizza, and we were like,
no, it's like
there's no crust.
That sounds pretty accurate, man. This town is lacking in Chinese food and pizza.
So he's back. This is him. This is the Tom that was behind the scenes for episode 1. But we were talking about, there's just something to be said for that. That was one of the most, if I was to think of like 5 key moments in my life that just changed things, that was one of them. Mm-hmm. It was like there is a shift in the universe that day.
It's the time you felt on top of the world.
Yes.
Hell yeah. Bring the cards back into it.
Fuck yeah. You want to do a song?
Right now?
Sure.
I have been...
You weren't expecting that, were you, motherfucker?
I was expecting it in general.
Because I'm about to start fading you shots, so I feel like before we get to that point.
Cool. Yeah, I've been on the grind of preparing for hitting the road playing drums, so it has been a long time since I've played like any of these songs in any capacity. So I practiced twice today, and I messed up once. Well, I messed up a good amount the first time. The second time I did okay.
Before you play, what are you playing for us? And why this song?
This is a song called Wildflowers from that record, Picturesque. It's the most stripped down one. I feel like it kind of works the best as like just me and an acoustic guitar. But I think on the record it's probably the only one without like drums, like formally drums. Yeah, that sounds about right. So
it might be, because I was listening to them through that filter myself, and I was thinking, because I was potentially going to ask you to do a different one.
Which one did you want to hear?
It's the one that was sort of folksy, but I don't think you could do it, because it's only you and the guitar.
It was like The Day the Earth Smiled?
I think so. No, just do the
I'll
practice.
But yeah, you know, I feel like when I recorded it, it was supposed to like literally be me and an acoustic guitar, and then I threw in some like synthesizers and just things to fill out the space. But yeah, it's the most stripped down of the 7 on the record, so I think it makes the most sense to do in this capacity.
Cool. Well, I'm gonna mute me and turn you up.
I probably don't actually want these on. Did that fart? Or did you fart?
If it was me, I would own it. That was totally
Just like
the dog.
I took the inhale.
Right when you were about to play, he just let it rip.
Man, he's still snoozing.
Dad, what are you doing? He's dead. He's down there fast asleep.
I literally went breathe in straight dog gas.
And it's the worst.
That was wild. Oh well. All right. We've already talked about dying, so what's more to do than live? We've already talked about getting along, so what's more to do than give? I'll pick all the wildflowers and I'll bring them all to you, 'cause like us they need somewhere to call home. Like them we need something to do. Sun don't get no rest when the moon takes his place. Can't even catch his breath, run too far away. I'd give my all to you if you would have it. I'd leave my everything if I was to pass. So play me off with a sad song or two. I'll lace up my flying shoe. The sun don't get no rest, and the moon takes his place. Can't even catch his breath, run too far away. I'll pick all the wildflowers and I'll bring them all to you, 'Cause like us, they need somewhere to call home. Like them, we need something to do. Oh, thank you, crowd.
That was Tom fucking Barvick.
It's been a minute since I played that. I did mess up. I did almost forget the words, but...
Dude, I don't know if I'll be able to sit it back down for the rest of this episode.
Ready to crowd surf?
Ready to crowd surf to that song.
How was it? Give me it straight. Give me it honest. A little shaky.
No, you didn't see it because your head was down.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah.
Is that why it was echoey?
Yes.
Is it still picking us up? Yes,
I think it is. It's just that's such a roomy mic.
Yeah. You didn't see it because you were looking down. But I literally had tears coming out of my eyes. Not only because it was such a fucking beautiful song, but just because, again, to the moment I was talking about with Jake of, I had this vision of having not just a podcast, but like having a fucking musician on that's playing his tunes, and you were the first one. And so it was just, I'm telling you, man, there's something about when you're something you've dreamed about and it becomes reality. Like this, that just fucking happened.
Oh, hell yeah. Yeah, it did.
And that's why I want it for you too.
It will it's happening.
It is happening. So fucking keep firing on all cylinders.
Hell yeah. I appreciate it. I will.
Dude, that was such a special moment. Thank you so much for that.
Thank you for,
Has anyone given that specific feedback? Am I the first person to cry to a Tom Barvick song?
I believe a good friend of mine who actually definitely surprised me that he would be one to show emotion. I feel like he told me that Wildflowers made him cry the first time he heard it. And that song was supposed to be like a love song, like to my girlfriend. Like it was supposed to be like really sweet. And like I just don't write like happy songs. And so I was like, I wrote you a song, it's gonna be awesome. She's like, I liked it.
No.
Let me rephrase.
I liked it.
Because she's going to hear it, and she'll be like, that wasn't how I reacted. She loves it. Like, she loves the song, but she was like, that's like the love song, Because it's like dark, It's like kind of sad. It's not like a happy one.
Mm-hmm.
But, yeah, I don't know. I can't be like, I don't know. I don't write like happy songs.
You do and you don't. Like, it's not a happy album, but it's not... I did want to ask you, and I feel like this is going to be one of those like lame interview questions, but whatever, fuck it.
Yeah.
I just realized that Picturesque has a music video on YouTube.
It does.
So I watched it.
Filmed in Portsmouth, New Hampshire.
If I put even a second of thought into the lyrics to the video, I could probably answer this question myself. But why does the woman keep disappearing? It was very sad. I was watching the video. I was like, oh... He's all alone again for the third time.
So,
why does she keep disappearing?
Just stay, right? Yeah. I would actually love to hear any interpretation you have, because I've had a lot of people call me, text me about it, like, what does it mean? And I always ask them, like, what does it mean to you? Because I think the music and videos especially, because now there's a visual too, but it's a very, like, interpretive kind of... If something isn't very literal... This might be a really dumb statement. If something isn't super literal, like giving you the answer, it should be open to interpretation. And so I kind of, when making that video, I guess I wrote and directed what was going to happen, but I very intentionally left it ambiguous. Like it wasn't, oh, she's dead, or oh, he's dead, or whatever. Like there's no video, there's no scene of me like dying, there's no scene of her dying, there's no, so it's supposed to be kind of, what do you think, what does it make you feel? And I've had many friends, family, whatever, tell me their interpretation of it, and they're all different. And I love that. So did you get anything out of it that is how you feel?
So I might be a little bit biased because we've been talking about this for an hour, but because I wasn't really listening, I wish I was more prepared now, and I actually watched it a second time. Actually, I wish I had just listened to the song one more time last night without the video on, so then I could have actually listened to the words. So the way I interpreted it is she was like who he was supposed to be with, but instead he's on this beach with all these people he doesn't give a fuck about.
Okay. That's a new one for me, like to hear, which is awesome.
Like you do, like almost like the beach is beautiful and you have an audience, and like this is to what we were saying earlier, like the thing you're supposed to be doing, right? Like, why would you not want to be on a beautiful beach, and why would you not want an audience listening to you play this beautiful song? But really, that's not what, like on the inside, that's not what you're yearning for. Your picturesque life, like what you're supposed to be doing, is you're supposed to be with your wife, your girlfriend, whoever that significant other was, but you're not.
That is, I love that, and it is. I've not heard that one yet from anybody, which is cool. Again, like I love hearing someone interpret it differently, because again, intentionally, if a movie, if a video, if a song, if something tells you what to see, that can be perfectly fine. I mean, a lot of movies are designed like that. You watch something beginning, middle, and end, but there's a reason that a movie purposely has an ambiguous ending or a twist, or something like Inception where it's like you can talk about it, you know. And from the video, originally that was like a funeral scene on the beach, and it was people coming to send me off.
So you're dead.
But as I was talking about it that was originally, it was supposed to be me. Like that's like essentially my memorial service, and that's why I like disappear into the ocean and all that. Like I'm gone. Does it have to do as much with the song? Yeah, I mean, it more has to do with the lyrics if you don't think of me as being the singer, like see you once or twice now and then, like about hold you close and breathe you in, now release you to the wind. I'm have to like remember my own lyrics. I'm like, that's not a thing I ever have to do.
You know what's so funny too is earlier today I was thinking about right before I asked you to play a song to make a joke about not forgetting your own lyrics, but then I told myself don't do that to him.
I would have.
What if it makes him nervous?
I would have.
And
I actually did.
And you know what else I told myself? What musician would ever forget the lyrics to their own?
Every time I perform, I swear to God. Another reason I'm like just gonna be happy to be
Really?
a drummer. Oh yeah. And there's like a whole thing behind it. Like like remembering lyrics and like actually singing them in real time is like two different functions. And like I forget my lyrics. I've never made it through a show where I sang every song with the right lyrics. Like and ever.
Interesting.
It's tough. And it's totally different because like I can play a whole show on guitar or drums and it's in real time, like remembering words that are basically subconscious, because when you write something, you're not learning them, you know? Like, I can probably sing somebody else's lyrics better than mine because I had to sit down and learn them to sing them, but my own stuff is like, oh, I wrote it. I never, like, learned it. I never, like, thought about remembering them.
Do you handwrite all your stuff, or is it typed?
I usually handwrite once, like,
I would think that would help a lot, not even a little bit.
Most ideas form on like a notes app because I'm not necessarily around to do it, or in a voice memo. Like if I'm driving, I'm like, what's worse than texting and driving? Writing on a notepad with a, you know. Like, so yeah, a lot of it starts on this, but once I get songs like 80% down or something, or even 50 or whatever, and I start writing out, like I like to have it handwritten because it kind of you can conceptualize it better. But yeah, with Picturesque, I think it was originally supposed to be like, these people are coming to my like sort of memorial service. I think I called it the funeral scene. And then there were the other scenes that were like probably like a look back into my life before or something. But it was really interesting. My friend's mom is like my biggest fan. Like she listens to that song like 1 billion times. I love that. And like when I see her, she'll talk to me about it. And we were talking about the video, and it kind of made me see my own video in a different way that I like more than how I had originally sort of pictured it, where it's like everyone in the beach is wearing black and I had designed that and I'm wearing white,
I didn't even catch on to the color of all their clothes.
I had that by design, so that it's kind of like when you go to a funeral and you're mourning, you wear black, and I'm in white because I'm freshly dead, or I don't know. But
fresh meat.
Exactly. But as we were talking about it, the only kind of like linear discrepancy or whatever in the, do you know that word?
Fuck you.
Do
you know that?
The only.
Oh my god.
Do not edit that out.
I'm not editing. There has been nothing yet that I planned on editing out. Except your fucking song.
Yeah, right. Me too. You're keeping Thad's fart in there?
Yes.
The only thing that kind of, like, when we were talking about it, didn't quite line up, maybe, is, like, my co-star, the female actress in it. She's, like, at the funeral, but also disappearing from the shots, and, like, if she's disappearing earlier, how is she at the funeral type of thing? And then I kind of, the way that I now see this video is that everybody who's at that funeral is already dead, and I'm joining them. And they were the people that I have lost over time. And when we came to that conclusion, it like hit me crazy. Like I was like, yeah, that's what the video is. And it's not how I like had envisioned it. And I love it even more now. Cause like, that's why she's disappearing. She's gone. And now she's at the beach scene. So it's clearly she's still somewhere. Mm-hmm. Along with everybody else dressed in black. And like, now I'm heading up, going to see him. So that's how I see it now. And it's crazy how I didn't see that in my own video until that was in March that I thought of it like that. So and that video came out, I don't even know, like November or October. So I don't even know.
I don't either.
It's basically, it was like 4 or 5 months before I came to now how I think, or what I actually think the video means. And that's what I think is super cool. Because like, my own interpretation was wrong. So I love that everyone can have their own interpretation of it, and it can hit them differently, and it can speak to them in some way that I didn't imagine.
Do the words line up to that? Like if I had made a sincere effort to watch the video again, maybe pull up the lyrics on my phone and read the lyrics, and I'm looking back and forth between the lyrics and the screen, could someone get to that? Or is there not like would you really have to sit down and think about it for a few minutes?
I think it could. There are like definitely parallels there that like do match up, but it might take a little bit of like outside influence to get you there, or you know, I don't know, because I think you would have to hear the lyrics as not being sung by the person in the video, maybe as one of the audience, as like one of the beach scene members or something, you know, like,
you know what we should do?
No, I'm interested.
We could put the YouTube video up on this screen,
mm-hmm.
and then hit play and mute it, and you could sing the song live.
Oh, perfect.
You don't have to do
I'll finish it like 2 minutes early and be like, "There's more."
Fuck.
But I love the ambition. It's the ambition that got you with the podcast.
These crazy ideas.
That would be fun. There's things like that where like I saw the Boston Symphony Orchestra play Jaws live with the movie in the back. So that's kind of similar. Like, and you forget that the orchestra's there because you're just watching the movie on a big screen, but then you look down and there's like a 45-piece orchestra there. So why can't I do it with Picturesque, a song I wrote? You know what? Let's do it.
Let's do it. If this equipment wasn't so damn sensitive, we did an episode the other day, and I like tapped the Roadcaster, and everything just it's like for real. Like it's all brand new.
Yeah.
But whatever. I hesitate to ask you this, but fuck it. And we can always take this part out if you want to. But was there anyone who gave you their take on the YouTube video and you were just like, what the fuck?
I don't think so, because I think...
Oh, good.
I think a lot of people sort of got the general idea, you know, of you've lost someone or you are the person that has moved on and people are missing you or something like that. Like, in general, people kind of... Honestly, your interpretation was one of the more far out ones in a cool way. Like, it's something I hadn't heard before. And I love that. But nope, yeah, no, I wasn't. Nobody texted me like, "Oh, what I think it means," and I was like, "No,
You idiot.
wrong again,
Dummy.
yeah, no, I think like I was saying earlier about like keeping it ambiguous, but having enough like imagery that you're not lost.
There's one for you. You kept making her disappear because really you're gay.
We're gonna have to edit this out. I'm kidding. No one can know.
No, has anyone given you that one? Get this woman out of here. Get the fuck out of my song.
Can there please be more dudes on this beach? Please?
I'm begging you. It's your video.
Where's David when you need him?
Where's David?
It's probably at 4th and 4th Ave.
Probably at 4th. Probably with the snakes on 6. Have you heard about that?
No. I mean, obviously not. Have you seen my video?
No.
What's up with the 6th Street snakes?
I didn't know this was a thing either. If I had not called you and interrupted you while you were listening to Beth Grimes' episode, you would know exactly what the snakes on 6 are.
Oh, I did not get to that portion.
My bad. And you know what's funny? It's like 8
one?
minutes in. It's like the first thing we talk about.
Well, yeah, because it was like I was just gotten into it, and then you called me, and then I talked to you until I got back to work.
Yeah. Oh, well. But was there anyone that you were expecting or hoping would have your back, and they ended up either being neutral or even like, can you not do that? Like, can you do something a little bit more practical with your life, please?
Like music-wise?
Yeah.
Honestly, like, I had kind of like a really good support system around me. Like, I kind of knew just because of like the music world, I was like, I bet he's going to ask me about that. And I'm like, totally, a lot of people want to have that, like, or not want to. If they do not have that kind of like hardship story, people want to say like they'll try to find something. It's like when you watch American Idol or something, or and a lot of people do have like a tough story of being like the living in the car or whatever. But then you have the person that clearly had. You know what? I'm gonna take American Idol out of it. Taylor Swift loves to be like, oh, I had grew up in this and what. Her dad is like a millionaire, lived in a mansion in Pennsylvania, and like all of a sudden she's like 13 at like Nashville labels and stuff like. And she in one of her recent songs, there's like she has like some line about like how hard it was growing up or whatever. I'm like, it absolutely wasn't, because
Absolutely was.
Because like people want to have that like, I had my parents very much supported the do music. Like I was like, I don't want to go to college. My mom was like, go to college, you get a degree, but do it in whatever you want. I was like, music? She's like, yeah. Like very supportive. So,
well, and I wasn't looking for hardship necessarily. I love that answer because this episode could reach a parent who has not heard their kid's aspirations yet, and their kid might come to them 6 months after hearing this episode and be like, hey, Mom, I want to do music or whatever the thing is, and they'll remember this moment and the fact that you had a supportive system, and then they might want to do that for their kids.
Absolutely.
So I love that that's your fucking story.
Yeah, I would love, much like you said earlier, of like somebody hears it and says, I'm going to go for music. I would love to tell that parent that would be like, do something, get a real job. That's what I do hear that a lot. Like even from people that not get a real job at like that directly to me, but you hear that in passing, like talking about someone who plays music or whatever, but like, oh, when they got a real job, they X, or, oh, they finally got a real job and now they work at this business or this whatever. And like, I don't care that people see it that way because like they're not the ones doing music. I do care of who it impacts though. Like that kid that might be like, Mom, I want to go, or Dad, I want to go to school for music. And like, that's not steady. And it's not a steady, there's no like, you graduate and you get this nice, I mean, maybe you do, but
it's the realization that you and me are having at we're having it at the same time that we're both leaning into our happiness. And I don't kid, like we are in a recording this in a 650 square foot apartment, and I don't give a fuck about that.
Yeah.
If I was in a home with a couple bedrooms, would that be nice? Sure. But if you were to take away the podcast and give me that home, or if you were to take away your music and give you the Lamborghini or whatever the thing is, would you be? So that's That may just ask directly. If I was to give you a Lamborghini, but say you have to give up your music to drive it, what would you say?
I'll be bummed because first off, the insurance payments on those awful. No, but yeah, definitely. Like, that's not worth anything. I mean, I'm happy in my 2014 Ford Focus, just whipping it around, whatever. Like, I don't really care about like flashy stuff. I mean, I've been wearing the same like pants since high school. I have ones that have a rip in it from when I fell skateboarding and my keys went through my pocket, and I still have those pants from like ninth grade, 10th grade, or whatever. Probably 10th or 11th. Finally hit my growth spurt in 9th grade. I was like, yeah,
Balls
6
finally
feet.
dropped.
Well,
yeah.
I mean, did they? but yeah, totally. I mean, the reason I want a house is to have a backyard for my dogs. Like, I don't.
Same.
That's
That's
literally
the only reason.
I'm in an apartment with it's 2 bed, 2 bath, living room, whatever. We have the room for sleeping and the room for playing music. Like, my drums, my production desk. That's like, I have the space that I need. Would more space be cool? Yes. But would more space at the expense of not doing music be cool? Absolutely not. Mm-hmm. Would a backyard be cool? Absolutely, because I gotta wake up and I just like put my bathrobe on and I'm like groggily walking the dogs in the morning. People are like, hey, and I'm like, I can't.
It's so hard for you.
I know.
You literally just said, I saw the exasperation. I don't know what word I just said.
You combined some words.
I saw the distraught in your face. Even the thought of what am I going to say to the neighbors today when I'm in my bathrobe.
Oh yeah. Well, I like a lot of my neighbors, but like they're
there are ideal times to see them and
yes.
non-ideal times to see them.
I would love to just wake up, open the door, let the dogs run outside, go do their thing, and hang outside. I mean, also for the dogs' like sake, like they're on a leash all the time because I can't just let them loose in the apartment complex.
Right.
So it's like if you have a backyard, you can just go out there and kick it.
As I was telling you before the episode when we were joking about me potentially moving to 4th Street or wherever, one huge appeal to this apartment is the fact that there are hiking trails 5 minutes from here.
Totally.
They're not even 5 minutes. It's like 45 seconds. When we walk out this door, within a minute, his leash is off. And I love that for him, man. It makes me so happy that we have done, if you don't include that 60 seconds to get to the trailhead, he hasn't been walked on a leash since he's been in Austin.
Really?
And I'm like,
love
is that my new requirement? That my home needs to be within 5 minutes of a hiking trail so I can let him be off leash?
Totally, yeah. I mean, I don't necessarily want children, so I'm cool with dogs. So it's like, I want my dog. I will treat a dog as I would a child. Like, I want them to be happy. I want them to be running around in the backyard. I want, So, like, that's the appeal of that. South Austin has a lot of houses like that, like, right by hiking and whatever. So I feel like when I get out of the apartment, the move is, like, 10, 15 minutes South Austin.
Are you considered South Austin?
I don't think so. I haven't been here long.
4th Street, South Austin?
Well, that's downtown. They wouldn't really have apartments there. But, like, I've told someone, like, oh, I live south, who's, like, from Austin. And they're like, oh, sick, where do you live? And I was like, Riverside. And they're like, that's east. And I was like, yeah, maybe. But it's south of the river, that's all I know. But South Austin, I think, is more, like, down 35, just, like, farther. But, again, I'm not from here.
I tell everyone I live next to Pennybacker Bridge, and nobody knows where that is. And I'm like, how? There is 7 days a week a line of cars out there.
I haven't been there.
With people. We can walk up there one day if you want. And you walk up there, you walk to the top of the fucking mountain, and you take your little selfie.
Can you take a dog with you?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, I'll bring the boys out.
Bring the boys. And there's even like a little cart, and they're selling food and lemonade and shit. And on the weekends,
here we go.
During the week, it's like 10 to 12 cars at any given point. During the weekends, bro, there's like...
That's crazy.
Dozens of cars.
And it's just for the view?
Yeah. I think it's mostly tourists because the locals literally don't know what it is. So
tourists? So now you take the syllable out? What the...
What did I just say?
I mean, that might just be how you say it, but like, tourists.
What did I say?
Just been giving me crap all day.
Tourists.
There it is. Tourists.
How did I say it one more time?
Tourists. It's like both. It was closer to terrorists than it was.
I was trying to not accidentally call them terrorists, so I lowered the R a little bit.
Tourists.
Oh my god! Of all the things that we could be laughing about over and over throughout this episode, I wasn't expecting that to be it. I think they're all. visitors.
Yep.
Because
They're hitting the road.
whenever I invite someone onto the podcast and they say, where do you record? Pennybacker Bridge. What's that?
Yeah, that would have meant nothing to me. If you said, like, sort of near Bee Cave, which maybe is where we are, maybe not. I don't know.
We're in Travis County.
There it is. I live in Travis County.
I don't really know how to describe where I live. Because technically,
near Bee Cave, right?
if you take 12 minutes down that way, you're in Westlake Hills.
Mm-hmm. Well, maybe just say that. I don't know. But that would also mean nothing to me because I don't know what that is.
When I was in Bee Cave the other day, I told someone...
Is that close to here?
Yeah.
So, yeah, I think near Bee Cave, like, that's what I think of here as, near Bee Cave.
Maybe I'll just start telling people that. But I asked someone the other day, I was like, what is he saying? It was at the gym, and he's just, like, beating himself up, and he's like, man, I'm the smallest guy here. I was like, dude, you got, like, the biggest arms in Bee Cave. And he said, what? And I said, you have the biggest arms in Bee Cave. And so I repeated it, and he's like, no, not the biggest arms part. He's like, what's Bee Cave? I said, we're literally in it. He's like, no, we're not. We're in Golds. I'm like, Jesus Christ. Like, I'm the new one here. Yeah, right. I'm the one that should have no idea that I'm not in Austin right now.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, the studio I work at is, like, right on the Austin side of Dripping Springs. So, like, when I try to describe it to someone, I'm like, it's, like, basically Dripping Springs, but it's not. And they're like, wait, what? I'm
Dripping
like,
Springs?
Have you been there?
Maybe.
It's like southwest. So it's kind of like probably on the same plane as where we are now, just go south a bunch.
Go south a bunch.
We're both new here. I don't know how to describe anything.
When did you move here?
About a year ago, year and a little bit.
Why Austin?
Why Austin?
Before you answer that, have you ever had mezcal?
Yeah.
Do you want to have some?
Sure. It's like, to me though, before you pour me any, it's like the worst version of tequila in my opinion. So like, don't waste it on me because I'm happy with my tequila and Sprite. But I will happily drink some with you.
I'll just give you a little.
Cool.
Just
because if you like it a lot, it'll be wasted on me because I like kind of enjoy it.
I don't. I think I'm also going to kind of enjoy it.
Okay.
It's more so that when I started this thing, I went out and I got like one nice rum, one nice red wine, because I thought like everyone that came on would want to have a drink, and it's been all these super healthy people. Like,
enter Tom Barvick, the musician.
The epitome of super healthy.
I am health.
You are.
I ate beans today.
What?
They're healthy. Beans are great for you.
They are. But it's more so the fact that this thing has been sitting on the shelf collecting dust for 120 days, so it's like principle. I need to drink this with someone.
Absolutely, totally. Let's mezcal it up.
More?
That's good.
Perfect.
Perfect.
We gonna?
Oh, we just yeah.
Let's you want to?
Sure.
Okay.
Let's knock it back. Oh yeah. Actually,
that's pretty good.
That's way better than a lot of mezcal.
Okay. Cool. Yeah, totally just picture shot this one.
That's good to know because my girlfriend loves mezcal.
Take a picture of it.
And
you want to take it home?
Yeah.
You can. It's my thank you gift.
All right. Game on. I'll bring you.
Nope. I mean, you can, but don't feel obligated as like a tick for tack. You can just accept the.
All right, I'll accept.
You can just accept the gift.
All right.
Yeah.
But I'll get you something. I'll get you tickets to a punk show so you can crowd surf.
So I can crowd surf.
Have you moshed before or no?
Years ago, it was at. It's funny too because that was actually at a Christian music.
You
festival.
saw Skillet, didn't you? Or Seether?
Joseph. I'll have to. My friend Joseph was there.
Joseph, I don't know.
No, you don't, but I do.
I believe you.
Joseph was there with me, and he would remember. Let's see. We're gonna do real-time fact check real quick.
Sweet. I'll text him too. Okay. No, I'm just gonna check the score of the Red Sox game. Oh, we are getting destroyed, so that was not worth it.
Aaron. I know I said Joseph, but he's in my phone as Aaron. Who did we mosh to at Spirit West Coast? Back in my days when I was going to heaven is overrated. I'd rather be gay in podcast.
Right. There's the t-shirt. That's the merch.
There's the podcast t-shirt. I've been thinking about making one.
That's the brand.
And the thing I was toying with was Do I make it for me in the sense of it would say something to the effect of I host a podcast about business, fitness, and culture, be my next guest, and then just like have my email on it, on my back, and that way people, like if they're behind me in the store, and whether it gets me a guest or not, it's a conversation starter.
I do like that. Yeah, that's cool.
But the other one, I'd rather be gay and podcasting.
I mean, why not have two? You think bands only sell one shirt on tour?
Yes.
Tour? On the road? At the merch table?
Yes.
No.
No. Actually, we did go to a music festival last October. And the main reason I wanted to go was Bring Me the Horizon. My buddy who went with me went because he wanted to see Muse.
What festival is it? Like, Welcome
It was
to Rockville?
called...
Where was
Fuck me. It was in Sacramento.
Oh,
it was the one I was trying to remember earlier. It's the biggest rock festival in the nation. Like, people fly there from other states to attend.
Was it Bottle Rock?
Nope.
That's
It's
in
3 days long. Everyone's there.
Mm-hmm.
Anywho,
Yeah.
Bring Me the Horizon actually did only have one shirt, and I was very bummed because it was this one. But it just didn't... Like, it's a badass shirt. I love it. And it has this, like, going back to the gay and not Christian anymore, you have this, like, some sort of satanic symbol on the back, which
semi-pentagram.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Great. So I bought it because I'm a big fan of theirs, and, like, I fucking love their music, man.
Mm-hmm.
I've had a vision of me when this podcast gets big enough that it goes live, like, and we do, like, a road show, they would open for it.
Hell yeah.
I think it would be sweet to have a band play like 3 or 4 songs just to get everyone pumped the fuck up before me and Peter Dinklage take the stage together to do a live podcast.
Absolutely.
Isn't that a great picture?
That's
Think
great,
about
yeah.
that. Bring Me the Horizon, Peter Dinklage and David O'Clair
There it
doing a
is.
fucking road show.
I love it. It's going to happen.
It's going to happen. Get ready, Peter. You don't know who I am yet.
Not yet.
Tennessee. I know I asked you why you came to Austin. Fuck that. That's a boring question.
I forgot we asked that. I can answer it, but
Nope. I wanted to ask you about Tennessee because I have a feeling it's gonna. You're very confusing to me because your album is this like very soft, gentle, like Jack Johnson-esque for anyone who has not listened to it yet. And then you invite me to see you play drums on St. Patty's Day.
yes.
And I show up, and there's a lot of mohawks and leather. And, I did have a feeling, though, and I don't know if you remember, but I did wear a black shirt and a black jeans. I just felt this seems like that's dressed dark.
Did you wear that shirt?
I think I did.
I think so. I think I've only seen you in that shirt. Except for the Jake Day here. I think I've only seen you wearing that shirt. It's the Tom's coming over shirt. It's got a band shirt on. I'll get you a band shirt. That's my gift to you. I'll get you one of my bands.
Yes, I would love that. So for the audience, I show up, and it very much was like a, your face melting type of night. And I had a grand time.
The band Sewage was playing when you showed up, if that sums it up to the...
Yeah, I thought we were all going to be kicking back with some wine glasses and listening to some acoustic music as we go through St. Patty's Day 2023, and that was not the scene.
No.
So how is it that your personal music is the alphabet, but your performance music is numbers?
I didn't know where you were going with that, but now I get it.
I didn't know where I was going with that.
Well done.
Thank you.
Keep your guests sung their toes. Yeah, I think, I've always thought that the key to being, I don't know about the key to being a good musician, but the best musicians are very well-rounded. Like, if you like one thing and you're really good at it, you're a really good musician at that thing. But I think to be a really good, well-rounded musician, you can kind of play it all or do it all or at least understand it all, which also goes into me being an engineer. I don't want someone to not want to work with me because I bet he can't do that. I don't want to work with him as an engineer because I don't think he could see my vision of this rock band, this metal band, this acoustic thing, whatever. So I think being a musician is the same way. It's being a well-rounded musician, well-versed in a lot of different styles is very important, but also like it's not a conscious decision. I'm not like, oh, I wanna be into punk rock right now. You know, it's not like that. It's just I think because in my like the being of who I am, whatever, I just like love music and appreciate a lot of it. And I don't, you know, it's the easy thing like when somebody says, "What do you listen to?" "Oh, I listen to everything." When like you literally like only like not you, but like so, you know, you talk to some fan of Taylor Swift, like, "Oh, I love everything." And it's like I only like Taylor Swift. It's like that's not everything. Oh, but she has some rocky songs. It's like, but you say you listen to everything, like, and I wouldn't be that guy like, "Oh, what's that band on your shirt? Name 3 songs." Like I don't care about that, but it's like I think to be a good, well-rounded musician, you should have an appreciation for a lot of stuff. And so through just playing music and listening to music, I've just gotten really into like a lot of different styles. So I love playing punk rock. I mean, I got into NoFX and Blink-182 and Green Day. I listened to a lot when early on and stuff. So like punk has always been something that I've been around. So the band that you saw, Hard Sell, like that's a punk band. So I love drumming in punk bands, especially because like that's the most energetic part. That's so And then the band that I go on tour with playing guitar is also a punk band, very like Offspring, Bad Religion type of thing. And it's just like music that I love. But also music that I love is singer-songwriter stuff and like storytellers and again, like I mentioned Townes Van Zandt and John Prine, Blaze Foley, like a lot of these songwriters are just like the best storytellers ever too. And like honestly the vocals are actually like kind of secondary in some of those. So I guess that doesn't have anything to do with the question you asked. But when I write the stuff that I write myself, it really comes out a lot more in the side of those storyteller songwriters, the acoustic, pick up a guitar, and like it's kind of music is like kind of more the medium that like these stories are being told through. But when I play music or like when I play in other bands, like the stuff that I write being acoustic and lighter and whatever doesn't diminish from the fact that I want to like just like go ham on the drums for 45 minutes and like go mosh and everything like that. So what was your question?
Irrelevant.
Yeah, so basically, I don't know. I mean, I think I kind of answered it, but
you did.
I'm just like
it makes so much sense to me that that makes 110% sense that when you're performing, you want to be at that fucking drum set, going at 1,000,000 miles an hour, but when you're writing your own stuff, you're telling a story because that's 2 completely different things.
Totally. Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know about the listeners. If you disagree, comment
Roast
on
me in the
YouTube. Like, say something. No one's commenting. Well, Danny does. So thank you, Danny.
What up, Danny?
But to me, that's crystal clear.
Okay, cool. Yeah, 'cause I think it's just. Do you know Amoeba Music?
Who?
Amoeba Music.
So to your point earlier about how music has somewhat changed, one thing that you might hate to hear this, and I'm just going to be 100% honest.
Let me get a drink first.
Please take a giant swig. I do listen to a lot of playlists. So there have been bands where people have said, do you know who did you just ask me about? Amoeba Music?
It's a record store, so this is secondary.
So there have been people who have said, do you know who Jack Johnson is? And I say, no idea. Let me look him up. Pull up Spotify real quick, turn on a song, and I'm like, yeah, I could sing every lyric to this right now.
Totally.
So to your point about how music has changed, with playlists, I probably know a lot of bands that I have no idea I know who they are.
Playlists are really cool for some things and semi-detrimental for other things like you just mentioned. Like, there are a lot of bands who are, they have 1 million monthly listeners on Spotify or something, which is awesome. But of those 1 million monthly listeners, I don't know the actual number because I'm not actually talking about a real person right now, but 50,000 of those actually like that art, or not like, actually sit down and put on that artist on purpose.
Right.
And 1 million minus 50,000 of those people, they were just on, today's modern rock playlist. And so they got the listen, they got the stream, which is really good. Like, that is the best way to get your music out in 2023 is like if you're on a cool playlist and like you said, then you pull it up and you're like, oh, of course, I love this song. And for me, like if I'm listening to a playlist and I like a song, I immediately go and I like click the like button so it goes into my liked songs and then I can explore that artist. Because I'm the kind of dude that like, If I listen to a song by a band and I like it, I then listen to that whole record. And if I like the record, I probably buy it. And then I also go listen to the rest of their discography because I just love like knowing a band through and through. I think it's the best thing to like have their whole discography. So it's super good for exposure, but people aren't buying records the same way that they used to, where it's like, oh, you hear that song on the radio, they go to the record store and buy it. Because everything's at our fingertips, you don't really need to buy it anymore. So you don't need to know the artist anymore. And then it's like, this band has a bajillion listeners and something, but they couldn't do a headlining tour of a place of a 500 cap or something because of those bajillion people that listen to them. It's not actually that many people actively a fan of said band. It's like a double-edged sword, and I'm not saying it's good or bad because it's just where the music industry is today.
Exactly.
It's like people probably, when sheet music turned into 45s, they're probably like, why are you going to do this? You're going to destroy the sheet music industry. And it's like, yeah, by recording music and then like going from 45s to albums, it's like people just want the single, and now people want albums. And then it's this and that. And then it got to the point in the 80s when like they were getting huge contracts to make an album just to push one song. It's like you have a full album, but people actually only want that one song. Music industry is crazy. My whole point with the movie music is now lost, but I can still say it. It just doesn't have anything to do with anything anymore. But yes, the playlist world is very good for exposure, very good in a way for artists, except again for the fact that streams pay out 0.0004 cents per stream on Spotify. So even if you get 100,000 listens, you're getting like maybe $1,000 or whatever.
That's the number. One stream gets 0.004 cents.
Yeah.
2 zeros?
2 or 3.
Either way.
Yeah.
I've always wondered how that worked, and there's the answer.
There it is.
I've always wondered how musicians make their money.
And that's why I stress to people so much, like, buy the record, buy the CD. You don't listen to CDs? That's fine. You don't listen to records? Oh, well. You want to support an artist? Buy it. $20, 15 CDs are like $5-10. Records are like 20.
So if we take, how much are you selling your records for?
$20.
So if you take $20 and divide that by 0.004, let's go with the high number.
And that's Spotify.
That's 5,000 listens.
Yeah, so.
Do you have any records left for sale?
I think I have like 8.
Because you ran through 200, 250?
Yeah, we did a pressing of 200, and I got a second shipment because I sold out. I kept some, the label kept some, and the distributor kept some. And I'm out, or I ran out of mine. They shipped me like 40 more, and I think I have like 9 left or something.
So if you haven't paused this episode to listen to Picturesque already, which I imagine some people would have, especially when we were talking about the YouTubers and the lyrics, like
put in the comments
if your natural curiosity did not make you pause this episode to go listen, you're either crazy or obsessed with the podcast. I appreciate the obsessed people. I'm crazy as well, so I resonate with you. Go buy the fucking label.
Tom Barvick on Bandcamp.
Tom Barvick on Bandcamp.
Easiest place to get it.
When you were talking about how do you say it? Discoverography?
What did I say? Discography?
Discography.
There it is. Discoverography. I love it.
I've never heard it said out loud. Guess what 2 bands I listened to every single one of their songs on my road trip here? Knowing what you know about me. Actually, no, because they're workout music, not driving music.
Oh. I literally have no idea anything about your music taste except for Bring Me the Horizon and now Muse. Is it in that ballpark?
No. Take one guess and then I'll just tell you.
All right, cool. I'm just going to go ahead and go with A Day to Remember.
No. Day one, I listened to every single song the Jonas Brothers ever wrote.
You know, I almost said Miley Cyrus, and I was like, I don't want him to be, like, mad at me. But
there's literally no answer you could have given that would make me mad.
Cool. Miley Cyrus. Oh, I'm still wrong. Jonas Brothers?
And day 2, I'll give you a clue. It was country.
Cody Jinks.
I don't know who that is. Well, I probably do.
You probably heard about
him. Sorry, Cody. Chris Stapleton.
Oh, okay. Chris Stapleton's cool.
Yeah. Dude, Chris Stapleton, I fucking jerk off to his music. My brother asked me, so my second biggest fan is my 11-year-old nephew. And my brother asked me, he was like, every now and then you say something, and I wish you could give some sort of warning. I'm like, how do I insert a warning for that? And he's 11. I have to imagine that, like, when I was growing up and I was 11, I didn't know what jerking off was. I didn't know what porn was. But now I have to imagine most 11-year-olds are a lot more for lack of a better term, let's go with educated.
Yeah, I feel like
That's the wrong word. But he knows what jerking off is. When he hears that, he's not going to be like, Dad, Uncle David said something about jerking off to Chris Stapleton. What does that mean?
I want him to have said that to your brother.
I do too.
But yeah, I agree. I feel like nowadays it's like with just social media, phones. Like, I mean, I didn't have a smartphone until junior year of high school or so, and I was on the late end of it, like everyone else did. But
Super
nowadays,
late.
like, third graders are like, with their phones that are like double the size of this. Like, I'm like, what? Like, you don't need that, man. Like, what are you doing? Who are you Snapchatting? Like, do all the 8-year-olds have those now? That's weird to me.
Have you heard about the parents that are setting up social media accounts for their babies?
No, that's awesome. It's like, what do they have going on that anyone needs to know about?
It's just cute pictures.
Just like, yeah,
Just cute baby pictures.
fair. But isn't that what like the mom and the dad's social media is?
I mean, technically it's the parents, but it would be as if
they're
when your parents were getting ready to have you and your mom's like 2 weeks before the hospital, she actually creates a Instagram account. But what's your mom's name?
Nancy.
But she's not calling it Nancy Barvick. She's actually calling it like, this is Tom Barvick's account, and then running it as if it's you doing it.
I guess there are a lot of people who do that for their dogs. So,
Guilty.
right.
Thad has an account.
Thad has one. I think I follow it, right? I must.
You do. You like some of his
Yeah.
pictures.
And like
And I even talk about it as if it's him.
exactly.
It's fucking crazy.
Exactly. And, I doubled down on my statement of I don't want kids, but I want dog. And it's like, yes, it's different. I know it is. But I'm going to treat my dog like my child.
Does your dog have an account?
No.
Okay.
Honestly, that would be adorable, though. Gibson and Kenji's Adventures.
They're pretty cute.
They are adorable. Kenji just turned 13
Happy birthday,
a couple days
Kenji.
ago, on Cinco de Mayo, actually.
Oh.
Yeah. We had a fiesta for Kenji.
Did you?
Oh, we got him a cake. It was like a cookie cake.
Yes.
And he had like a little candle and everything. It was cute. But we had to blow it out because he couldn't figure out
No.
No.
You know what was adorable the other day when I told you? I was like, tell Kenji happy birthday. And you said, Kenji responds bark. And and that means thank you.
Right, yeah, I told you, yeah. He did say thank you. He appreciated the love.
All right. I have to ask you, because you mentioned it, life after death.
Oh, okay.
Let's get into it.
I'm not like a terribly religious person. I think there's a lot of like science that sort of overtakes a lot of like religion is a belief. And that's just like that's what it is. That's the reason that it exists is because it can't be proven. So like you can believe it. I don't really know what I think about like, I'm confirmed, I'm baptized and all that stuff. One thing I do believe in is that I won't know that I was me. Maybe I'll hear Picturesque one time and be like, hey, this guy was pretty good. But I feel like when this vessel dies, I will be brought back as something. And it'll be like I will be alive again, but I might be I'll be someone else. I might be a dog. I hope I'm a dog. If I'm like a corgi in like an upper middle class family, like that's all I want. Just like to be a corgi. That'd be the best.
I'm not gonna lie. There's this one breed of dog. I don't know what it is. I'll Google it at some point. But Thad always has a thing for them. Where if they're at the dog park, he really wants to play with them, chase them. And I would be lying to you if the thought did not cross my mind that in a past life he was a human who had that kind of dog. Mm-hmm. Because I'm like, why that breed?
Yeah.
It makes no sense that in both Sacramento and Austin, a breed, he looks like a couple things. People have said pit bull, Jack Russell Terrier. People have even said dachshund. They've said chihuahua. They've said all the things. No one has ever said this breed of dog. It's like a this like long-haired, brown, black, and white, like sort of herding dog. Regardless, it's just very strange. Not strange to me. I'm like, I don't believe in coincidence. I'm like, there's something there.
Yeah.
Where he's going after them. And there was one day at the dog park when I was like, oh, it's simple. He was a human in his past life, and that was his dog.
Yeah, I believe that. I believe something like that. I mean, Kenji's the same way, but he hates Australian Shepherds. So maybe he was a human who got bit by an Aussie one time, and
Sure.
I believe that kind of. I mean, why not? Makes as much sense as anything else.
Why do you believe that when do you think you started thinking that you'll be like reincarnated, for lack of a better term?
I don't know. It doesn't make any sense to me why it would work.
Why does it make sense that, you know what's always crazy to me about, let's just go with Christianity because that's what I know. I do think it's whether you like it, hate it, irrelevant. It is interesting and fascinating to me that, like, it's so big. Like, if we were to drive to... Sorry, that was very ambiguous. You're like, what is big?
What is big?
If we were to get in our car right now and drive to the gym that I go to in Bee Cave, we would pass like 12 churches. And if we were to Google how many Bibles were sold in 2022, I'm sure the number would be very high.
At least 10. If not 15.
At least 10. Where was I going with it? Talk about reincarnation. Oh, is it any more crazy to think that we're reincarnated back into this planet as it is to believe that there is a heaven where everything is perfect and you're going to be at peace, and then the opposite of that is hell, where you are literally burning and in pain for eternity?
Which is wild.
That seems wild to me.
Yeah, neither of those things really actually make sense. And I don't even know if I like fully believe. I think most religious belief is like comfort. It's like, oh, when I die, like I'll be in heaven. Like that'll be cool. I don't actually die. And so I think reincarnation is kind of the same way. It's like, oh, when I die, like I'm not dead. I'll come back as something else. I think most religion is like comfort. That's why like a lot of old people find it.
I also wonder too sometimes if again with going with Christianity, like if there is some genius who thought, like, we need to write this code of ethics and get everyone to buy into it. Treat your neighbor as yourself.
That's a good one.
Like, anyone who can't get behind that, like, I don't know, that just seems like
Move out of my apartment.
Be kind. Yeah. Like, I can get behind that. So if you look at, like, in fucking Galatians and the 7 fruits of the spirits, it's like love, joy, peace, patience. Like, I seek after all of those things today.
Yeah.
And I almost wonder if, like, there is this Illuminati who thought, like, we want Earth, let's get away from war and try to get everyone on the same playing field. But to do that, we're going to have to tell a story, because stories are fucking powerful. And then they wrote this book. This is my conspiracy theory. And they told a story about the kid David who killed Goliath, and then Jesus came and he saved the earth. And by the way, be kind, seek peace, seek love, treat your neighbor as yourself. But it didn't really work because Christians are some of the most terrible people on this planet alive.
Well, I mean, it's like in general.
It didn't work, Illuminati.
Just like religion, you know, like all the wars started by religion. It's like, yo, it's all the same God. It's all branched off of one thing. It's like, why are you blowing up another person? Because of religion. Isn't it preaching peace? Like that's my big qualm with it, you know, like I don't know. Like kind of, you know, it makes no sense where everything is supposed to be preaching, treat others the way you want to be treated, be kind, do this and that, and then like wars and everything is solely based off of that. That makes no sense to me at all. That's not following in his way at all. So I don't know why I would believe in reincarnation. I don't even know if I do. I just like to think that it would happen because that'd be cool. That's it. That'd be cool.
I was thinking about this the other day because I was editing an episode that's not out yet where someone threw that question at me, and I think it was a little bit out of context because we hadn't been talking about religion or anything at all, and you can catch me stumbling over my own words. I'm like, because the question was essentially what happens now that you're not a active practicing Christian anymore. What are your thoughts about what happens after we die? So then I edited that episode. I forgot that question was answered for me. I forgot that I stumbled over my words like an idiot for 30 seconds. And
yeah.
deleted a lot of it because I was like, you sound so ridiculous. Maybe I should have left it in because then people could have seen my genuine response. It's out now, so whatever.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, it's just such a weird concept when you start to think about it, like life after death, and you have people who think like this is what's gonna happen, and maybe they need that. Mm-hmm. Maybe they just need that. Maybe in order to live a productive, happy, peaceful life, they need to know that like there's a meaning. Like I'm doing this to get to heaven. Mm-hmm. I don't know. It's a very weird topic when you stop to think about it. I think so many people, I will say, I won't put this on people. Me, as a kid and a teenager and in my 20s, you just sort of automatically do it. Mm-hmm. You go to church, you pray before your meal, you don't curse, you wait for marriage to have sex, you just do all these things because it's just fucking ingrained in you. Mm-hmm. But then when you sit back and you evaluate it for a few minutes, you're like, this is all very strange.
Yeah, very much so. I mean, yeah, like I went to Catholic school, I did confession, I got baptized, I got first communion. You just go to church every Sunday just because it's like habit, it's a ritual, it's every week. And then when you just sit back and you're like, what am I doing? Why do I stand when they tell me to stand? Why do I sit? It's like, oh, it's kind of weird. It's kind of cultish, isn't it? And yeah, I mean, then recently, like that movie Spotlight came out, and they hate gay people, and it's like, well, I don't know if I can even pretend to be part of that anymore. So I don't practice religion.
I have not heard of Spotlight.
That
doesn't sound like something I would watch either.
It's the movie that like it was just like about the whole priests and pedophile type of thing, and it was just very telling, I guess.
Yeah.
But like a lot of that stuff came out, and it's like that's ridiculous, like that people just like that. It's such an industry. I mean,
pedophilia,
churches. The pedophile industry is booming.
I had to. I'm sorry.
It's your podcast, bro. No, but yeah, I mean, yeah, I don't know. I'm never going to tell somebody what to believe, but you should probably believe that pedophilia is wrong.
I think you should think about what you believe or what you're... Just think about it. Mm-hmm. I'm not advocating or knocking anything.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm just saying...
Think about it.
Think about it.
I think if everybody just thinks for themselves and do what you want, well, I guess that leads to issues as well, because if you think racist things and then do racist things, I'm not advocating for that.
Right.
So, I don't know.
I don't know either. It's on the forefront of my mind because it's very ironic that I edited that specific episode, and because these podcasts, I've noticed, I don't know if you might resonate with this when you were talking about your song lyrics. I almost black out during these in the sense that when I'm editing,
you're like, when did we talk about
that?
We
talked about that?
Yeah.
I said those words.
Yeah.
So I completely forgot that he asked me that specific question. I completely forgot I gave him no answer. And then the fact that you showed up 4 days later and mentioned that we should talk about what you think about life after death is just, the timing's all very ding-a-lingy.
To use a term in the dictionary.
Right. Because you were talking about linear derivatives earlier, and I'm over here talking
amalgamations
about
and
ding-a-ling. Woo!
That's a new one.
That's a new one.
I'm gonna bring that into my lexicon.
Ding-a-ling. All right. I think there is one or two more questions that I wanted to ask you. Give me a moment here to get my thoughts together. What are you laughing about?
Your thoughts are just one big ding-a-ling.
It's the timing is crazy, you know.
There it is.
All right, here's the thing. When I was single, I still am single. That's all I've ever been.
I was like, congratulations.
When I was going into the pandemic, as most single people were, there was no dating, at least in Sacramento. Let's just confine it to what I experienced. Even on the apps, they became ghost towns.
Really?
Where like you saw profiles drop off and you would message people and they wouldn't respond. And dating was a ghost town. If I have my timing right, based off what I researched, you were fucking getting into a relationship
Yeah, make the most of the situation.
How did that happen? Were you guys like casually dating and then the shelter in place? This is what happened in my mind's eye. You were casually dating, not official, and then the shelter in place happened, and you both wanted to be able to have sex. So, and not like you even need to put a label on it to do that. I feel like that's sort of what happened. You're like, well, you want to be in a relationship? You want to be in a relationship? Well, I mean, we're going to be stuck behind this closed door for who fucking knows. So, okay.
So, wild enough, you are incorrect, actually. Wild enough about that whole situation. I was still in Nashville. Emma was up in Boston. This story begins way before the pandemic. So I went to high school with Emma, and we were in the concert band together. She plays saxophone. I play drums. And I thought that she was very cute, very nice. And I asked her to be in my ska band, which didn't work, believe it or not, in high school. And so that's, 2016 or whatever. So, I definitely, I had a crush on her in high school. Then we went to different colleges and stuff just because she didn't join my ska band. Didn't play saxophone in my ska band, whatever. I still remind her of this all the time. Like, we could have been dating for a long time had you just wanted to play.
Had you play in my ska band?
Had you just played Aquabats and Less Than Jake covers, we could have been. Anyway.
You're not bitter or resentful. I'm not catching any of those
Nothing like
vibes
that.
coming across the table right now.
Nothing at all.
No,
it's definitely for the best that we didn't date in high school, because anybody who dates in high school and goes to college, it just doesn't work out. I mean, not anybody, but most people, I'd say. 99 out of 100.
Sure.
Probably pretty bad chances.
Mm-hmm.
So, after high school, we went out to different colleges and stuff. But her birthday is March 28th. And so, that's right when that pandemic stuff was happening. And I just, swiped up on Snapchat, and I was like, happy birthday, hope you can celebrate. I said that, too. That was the winner.
Well, we said on the phone we were going to belch at least once during this episode, and I realized that I was doing my normal thing, and I kept looking sideways, and then I realized, I don't know, we might be wrapping up soon, maybe we'll go for another 2 hours. Either way, I gotta get one in.
Gotta do it.
You gotta get one in, too. If you need, a LaCroix or something, or a beer,
Maybe.
Just let me know.
I have to pee too much to burp right now.
After the story, we're taking a piss break.
Okay, good. Together. Only one bathroom, right?
That's fine.
Yeah.
That's better.
Anyway, it was the wildest thing. We just started talking during the pandemic. We had very little contact for 4 years or whatever since high school. She's a grade above me, so she graduated. We didn't really talk much. And then we just started talking during the pandemic. And then, I was in Nashville, and she was up in Boston. We were just talking until I got home from Nashville. And then literally, did the, social distance type of, dating thing. And then finally, the world opened up and stuff, and it was all cool. But it was very wild because nobody else, most relationships couldn't have blossomed during a pandemic. And I kind of have the pandemic to thank for this one. So it worked out very well. But it's definitely a wild story of literally dates with masks on. I mean, our first 40.
Yeah, and your anniversary pictures, you guys had your masks on, and
yeah, I mean we were both living at our parents' houses, so we were being
in Boston. You said,
yeah.
Okay,
and so we were being respectful of that, and it's wild how it actually helped the relationship wouldn't really have happened had that not happened, because I would have probably stayed in Nashville for a longer time, and she would have still been at school and everything. We just had downtime where I was happy birthday, and then because of all the downtime that we had nothing to do, so we were just talking on the phone a lot. And then all the dates that we had while I was in Nashville and she was in Boston were FaceTiming at the end of the day. We would watch a movie at the same time, click play at the same time on FaceTime. It was the most pandemic dating ever. Most of our pictures for the first year are with a mask, and she's over there.
Yeah.
Because it's definitely wild. The pandemic was a crazy time, especially because of how my whole industry was destroyed. So I had nothing. I was at a studio in Nashville called Blackbird. That's one of the most well-known studios probably in America. And I had the final session at Blackbird before the shutdown. I was there at 8 p.m. to 2 a.m. the day before they said we're not reopening our doors. So I literally did what I could do up until the end of what I could do, and then there was just nothing musically to do. And luckily, Em and I started talking during that, and that was awesome. And it's cool. this pandemic isn't all bad. It was mostly bad because of all the other stuff happening, but
The layoffs, the deaths,
so
the businesses that closed.
Everything is bad, except I was like,
and you're over here just sliding into those DMs.
like, what up? Remember my ska band? The wild thing is, she actually came to that show.
You remember my ska band?
It was when I asked her out, or did not ask her out. When I asked her to play saxophone in a band with me, she ended up coming to the show that I was playing that she would have been part of. And she was like, you did really good. That was awesome. And I was like, she's talking to me. Totally botched the situation. But again, probably a blessing in disguise because going to college relationships aren't that good. Wouldn't work.
Yeah.
So thank you, pandemic.
Thank you
for one good thing.
I have another COVID question for you, but I think that we should both be first.
Cool.
Let's do it.